So I actually forgot this map was actually in the map pool, Ajax, even though we'd seen it in the previous series.
Yeah. I thought there was just a whirlwind left.
Now, I knew there was another map available. I just forgot which one, but here we go. It is going to be on Metropolis, and we are going to be seeing Property Hob coming out.
And
Property Hob. Property
Property
Hob.
Hop. We got a Zerg versus Terran on Metropolis.
This has been an interesting. There's been a lot of interesting developments in Zerg versus Terran on Metropolis. There's been a lot of like really interesting things that have actually happened on this map. I'll probably get into those as soon as we get into the game. I'm trying to find Hob on their roster. Oh, there he is. He's actually from their academy. So he's one of their academy players, the only academy player we were actually seeing today coming out from Team Property. So an interesting decision to send him out last.
Yeah. Their ace being an academy player, don't really see that often. Normally it's one of their, for sure players,
You know what it might be is that it might be that Bobson was their ace for today, and they were really relying on him to carry the torch for getting 3 wins for their team. But either way, Hobbs got a load to carry. He's got this last game. He has to come in for the clutch. I mean, MindFeast has already tied things up, so even if he loses here, he's already really contributed to his team. But Hobb, he really has a lot of pressure cut out for him right now.
Absolutely. And MindFeast showing how good of a player he actually is. And spawning over in the left position, it is Optik MindFeast, who showed an impressive game last game.
And spawning up here in the top position, we have our Red Zerg player from Property's Academy. He is Property Hob. Can he give his team that 7th and final game, or will he fall to the ace player from Team Optik MindFeast? Find out, guys. This is game number 7 on Metropolis.
Both great teams, man. You guys have put out some amazing games today. So, wouldn't expect anything less from this game. What do you think we're going to see this game?
Well, I mean, I was talking a little bit about or I was alluding to a little bit the developments that have taken place on Metropolis in Terran versus Zerg. Now, one of the things that a lot of Terrans have started to figure out is that, like Shakura's Plateau, you could split this map up a lot easier than you can on some other maps. You could take 5 bases comfortably as a Terran player here, a lot more comfortably than you can on, say, Daybreak. So because of that, Terrans like MVP and notably Empire Casts at IEM, they would split this map up. They would play hyper defensive, and they would go straight into Ravens and Battlecruisers with Secret Missile. It's been something that Marine King demonstrated in one of his up and down matches. It's something that MVP has demonstrated on this map. It's something that a lot of Terrans have actually been doing on this map at the professional level. And the Zergs, for the most part, have not been able to figure it out. You could take 5 bases so much easier here. It's so easy to defend Broodlords and Ultralists just because of the way that this map is laid out that it's really hard to stop Terran from getting up to that super late game death ball.
Yeah, and we're actually seeing a command center first from MindFeast, so he definitely shows confidence about going to the late game.
Yeah, so I would not be surprised at all if he does go straight for that very passive late game style. In this way, this map kind of reminds me a lot of Entombed Valley in the Protoss versus Zerg matchup, where Protoss will kind of neglect a lot of other options and just go straight for the late game, knowing that the map plays out so heavily into the way that they like to play the late game.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect anything less from this kind of caliber of player. To send the game 7 to the end game,
I mean, Hobbs the one that's really got to figure this out if MindFeast is actually going to be going for that. I mean, there's a lot of other things MindFeast could be going for. He doesn't have to go for the late game. So really it's up to Hobb to kind of dictate where this game is going to go from here, because if MindFeast just wants to stay passive like that, Hobb is not really going to want to just sit there and let him do it.
And one thing you already noticed is that MindFeast actually checked to see if Hobb took a third. We saw that earlier where the Zerg saw that he was going CC first, and he just took a third. And that didn't happen. So we could be seeing some aggressive style from Hobbe over here. No gases yet. Getting the heavier queen count, which I absolutely agree with.
That's where the 300 minerals that would have gone into that hatchery is actually going into those 2 queens, Ajax. So I can't tell if Hobbe's doing this to try and prep for a stronger timing attack because of that extra creep spread, or if he's doing this strictly for defensive purposes, not wanting to fall to things like Hellion Banshee, the way that we've seen some Zergs fall to it today.
Yeah, and he's definitely seen it. He's even getting 2 more queens. So this is absolutely the heavier queen style. Refreshing to see. It's the first time we're going to see it today, so we're going to see how it pans out. Again, no gas yet, so very, I guess you could call it Spanishiwa style.
Yeah, this is vintage Spanishiwa style with the heavy queen count, no gas. I would say normally that this would kind of be a problem for Hellions, but I mean, look how narrow this choke is on Metropolis. There's nowhere for those Hellions to go, especially not going up against 6 queens. And this map is enormous, so having that extra creep spread, it's gonna pay so many dividends.
And you can tell that since MindFeast saw that he didn't take a fast third, he's scared right now. He put down a second bunker, is walling up his natural, getting 2 additional barracks. So he's got 3 barracks now, all producing Marines, and as well as continuing to produce Hellions. So he's kind of wondering what his opponent's doing right now.
I wouldn't call him scared so much, Ajax, as I would call him wary. He's just being very wary or cautious of what his opponent is doing. I mean, this is a Game 7, so neither one of these guys wants to lose anything to stupid chance. There's too much riding on the line for them. Like, you don't want to sit here for 2 hours watching your team play just so that you lose like something stupid like, oh, I completely neglected to prepare for Hellions, or I completely neglected to prepare for a Roach Baneling bust or something like that. So neither one of these players wants to go out that way. So we're going to be seeing a very safe game from both sides. And, you know, this kind of lends itself into a little bit more of like that late game style I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. We see, you know, Hobbe taking all 4 of his gases now. So definitely looking to tech up quick, putting down 2 Evo chambers and a Baneling Nest. We're probably going to see Infestor play out of him. His third just got up. I'm surprised he hasn't added a macro hatch yet, though.
I don't think so, Ajax. On this map, this is one of those maps where Mutalisk play has made a comeback for Terran versus Zerg, and based off of what we're seeing so far from Hobbe, I actually think we're going to be seeing either a very, very quick tech up to Hive or Mutalisks. And Mutalisks are beautiful on this map. There's so much airspace, and if you don't go for Mutalisks, it's very, very easy for Terran to just abuse that airspace with drop play. So I'm expecting to see Mutalisks out of Hobbe.
Well, I would... See, the only thing that's worrying me about that right now is the fact that Hobbe hasn't gotten a lair yet.
Yeah.
If he would have gotten a lair, I would have absolutely agreed with you, because there's certain timings that you can make with Mutalisks. But as of right now, he doesn't have that. He lost that timing. And with all these Hellions out, you know, they're doing decent damage. Oh, and they're all going to be caught by the Zerglings, so they're going to lose all those Hellions. Not without doing decent damage, actually, but is going to lose all those Hellions. And now MindFeast, who is going to do that same push that we saw earlier with the Hellions and the Marauder Marines, have now lost that timing push. So Hobbe is actually in a good position right now.
Yeah, you're totally right about that. He wanted to follow up that Hellion pressure with this squad of Marines and some Marauders, and he got over eager. Like, he saw that he could take a queen down, and he kind of got trapped in that third base because that destructible debris was still up for MindFeast. It's kind of ironic. If MindFeast had actually been diligent enough to remove that debris the way that he wanted to, those Hellions would have gotten away and probably would have gotten a lot of additional probe kills or drone kills also. But here comes the push. There are still only 3 queens actually out on the field. There are some Banelings, but a lot of creep is actually going to get cleaned up in all of this if nothing else actually happens. Hobbe is actually backing himself into a corner, and MindFeast is actually going to go down here into the third base where there was a lot of Banelings actually waiting for them, but with no support, those Banelings are going to be in trouble. Can MindFeast actually target down those Banelings with those Hellions? It looks like he might be able to get a few of them, and here come the Zerglings from the other side. Queens are actually playing it from the other side, but good splits from MindFeast are really going to mitigate a lot of the damage those Banelings are going to be able to do, but nonetheless, Hobbe will be able to hold this off without losing too much in terms of economy. I don't think he actually lost anything in terms of economy in that attack.
I don't think he lost anything. A few drones are a little red. We got a pumpkin drone there too, but besides that, nothing. and he's going for this heavy wing upgraded style that's going to lead perfectly into ultras. This prevents any early aggression from your opponent. And if your opponent tries to take a third, you can counterattack with all these lings, which is exactly what he's going to do. He's going to prevent a third and take his fourth. This is beautiful play. This is old school play, I want to say. It's where you just don't tech and you just go mass lings with the queens, and the queens take care of all the air that you could possibly worry about. And now he's getting that infestation pit, and it's going to build beautifully into ultras, which is going to give him an enormous advantage over now. And even goofing up his opponent's third to make sure that nothing can happen there. Just great play from Hobbe so far.
I mean, it is definitely great play from Hobbe, but I think that MindFeast could have been a little bit more decisive either way in the early game about what he wanted to do with this map. He could have been a little bit more hyper-aggressive, or he could have just already had his third base down behind those Hellions. And once he already has that third base down, he could plop bunkers there, and the way that Hobbe is currently playing, he couldn't really attack it. But now he's in a position where his third base has been very heavily delayed, especially with a spy caller not being constructed there, and Hobbe's going up to 4 bases. So we're going to have a 2-base Terran versus a 4-base Zerg, and Hive's already on the way. So Hobbe is definitely playing this out very, very, very well. But I really think that if MindFeast had really committed to either more aggression earlier or just more passivity, I think he'd be in a better position right now.
I agree with you on that, but I think the turning point was when he lost all those Hellions.
Yeah.
If he would have saved those and had them with the initial army, he would have done much better. But now, you know, MindFeast thinking in his head, what do I do right now? Do I continue to expand? He's even behind on upgrades right now. 2-2 is about to finish for our Zerg player, and Hive is about to finish, as well as passaging lands, and he's even putting down spores in preparation for drops. Overall, just great play from our Zerg player right now.
What Hobbe really wants to do at this point, he has this lead. What he really wants to do is one of two things. One, he doesn't want to die to drops. So he needs to start building. If I was Hobbe, or he's already doing this a little bit, he is dropping down spore crawlers and spine crawlers in his main, which is beautiful. He needs to do that also at his third base and his fourth base. He needs to just drop some spines all over his third and fourth so that he cannot be dropped heavily. Because he's going for this infestor play, drops are going to be a possibility, and one of the only ways that MindFeast can really regain the advantage in this game. But the second thing he wants to do is really hit MindFeast hard, make sure he doesn't take that fourth base, because a Terran on 4 bases is a whole different beast than a Terran who's stuck on 3.
Absolutely, and now even seeing this dropship coming in, you know, Hobbe is just playing extremely well. He's got eyes everywhere. And this is the benefit of having creep everywhere. You can just get across the map in seconds. It doesn't even matter because of the highway. And you just see all these tumors everywhere across the map. And, you know, it's very demoralizing for a Terran player to go into a Zerg base. And, you know, you scan to clean up creep tumor and you expect 1 or 2, and there's 50 there. And it takes you 2 scans just to kill them all. Again, just Hobbe playing this beautifully. Getting so many hashes, and then their Ultimus Cavern starting the research too. No crackling upgrade yet. Looking forward to see crackling actually.
Yeah, Adrenal Lens is it's always something that I advocate. It's like the first thing you do when you get Hive Tech, especially because it just makes all those Zerglings that much more cost effective. And if you're relying on them this heavily to clean up drops and stuff like that, it's really, really a useful upgrade to research. But Hobbe's in a really good spot either way. He's already he's going up to 3-3. Chitinous plating is almost done. Actually, when I say almost done, I mean half done. Same thing. And the one thing though is that his creep is a little disproportionate. He has a lot more creep tumors on the left side of the map than it is on the right. It's not a huge deal, but it is something that he could kind of even out a little bit, especially if he wants to protect himself from all angles from multi-pronged Terran attacks. But we do have a small army from MindFeast actually out here. He's going to be going for a big drop into the fourth base of Hobbe.
As well as moving across a few units to clean up anything, but with 16 infestors out, you know, 100 or so Zerglings and Banelings, I feel like he's going to be able to defend this just fine. He is going to lose quite a few infestors just because of the little puppy. Oh, but man, dude, just cleaning up that army. Yeah, obliterated MindFeast's army. Going to kill all these medevacs as well, just because of the high investor count can do so. And now, yeah, MindFeast is just sitting on 3 base. Warrior count is 84 to 67 in favor of our Zerg player. And now the Ultralisks are out, and Ultralisks are almost fully upgraded. 3-3 is about to finish. Their armor upgrade's already done, and now Aspire's going down as well.
All right, so at this point, Hobbe can be the Zerg Swarm. He can just he could. I really hope he does this. I want him to just start hammering MindFeast, and I want him to start hammering his base and be unrelenting with it. He wants to make sure that MindFeast can't expand anymore. And if all MindFeast does is sit in his base and spend money on defenses, there's no way he can attack him. And if he just takes additional bases behind that, I don't see any way that MindFeast can actually leave his base and do any damage to Hobbe. The other option, obviously, is that Hobbe could spec up to the Broodlords behind all of this, which does look to be like something he wants to do. But behind all of that, you are giving your Terran opponent the opportunity to get a maxed out army to stay cost efficient against what you have on the field. So I would prefer if Hobbe just like started going full out attack mode from here, but it makes a lot of sense that he wouldn't either.
And here it comes, actually. Oh man, fully upgraded Ultralisks gonna be rolling over all the tanks. The Lings come in, Infestors bungling the tanks, and all the medevacs. Oh, just obliterating the army with plenty left over. And there's the GG. MindFeast knew he couldn't handle it. And there goes Team Property taking the W over Optik Gaming. And wow.
Ultralisks against straight Marines, man. It's actually kind of disgusting how you watch like an Ultralist just run into a group of Marines and all you see is bodies fly everywhere. Like it's kind of ridiculous. So, I mean, MindFeast definitely needed Marauders, but I mean he was just so far behind in economy. Like I said, all Hobbe had to do was just keep throwing units at him, and I don't think he ever would have been able to secure a fourth. So, beautiful demonstration of Zerg versus Terran to close things out in this best of 7 series. That is 2 best of 7s in a row for us today, Ajax. Great day for the ISTL. We had Team MXG over Team Ripsies earlier today, and now we have Team Property over Team Optik today. Both going down to Game 7, but Team Property Hobbe pulling it out for his team in the clutch when he needed to, and he takes down MindFeast and gets the win for his team. So great series. Thanks for sticking with me, Ajax. I know it's been a long day.
I can only imagine that Hobbs is telling his team right now, I just took out a player that my co-teammate couldn't take out. Where's my position? Why am I still in the academy?
I don't think he's saying that at all, Ajax. I think he's just happy with himself. I think Team Property is overall happy with the result. You know, there is always that stereotype that like the North American ladder is the weak ladder, and that the Europeans and the Koreans are better. So I think in a lot of ways, I think Property is. At least I think they should be impressed with the level of competition they faced today, because Optik was a great challenge for them. The game number 7, MindFeast just looked so strong going into it. If Team Property thought they could just come to the North American ladder and clean up, they have been proven wrong today, because the North American teams, man, you can't count them. You can't count them out. And Team Optik just put on a brilliant demonstration today. So. I'm a huge fan of both teams out today. Both so solid, and I'm really happy I got to cast today. So I think that will do it. It's been a thank you for everybody that's actually stuck with us and watched all of today's broadcast. But I think we are done. Our next games will actually be tomorrow, or is it Tuesday, Marine? You want to remind me? It's tomorrow. So our next games are tomorrow. That will be at 5:30. Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern. I'll get the teams for you guys later, but we do have a Liquipedia. We do have a thread on Team Liquid, and we do have threads on Reddit. So if you guys are enjoying what you're seeing today, please click follow at the top of the stream, and please bump our threads on Team Liquid and Reddit. Once again, I am Vidicare, and he is Ajax. You can find him streaming at that ID that's right below his name. He streams a lot, all sorts of different games and everything else like that. And you can find me on Twitter if you'd like to know when I am going live with any other sorts of streams. I cast mostly for the ISTL, but also for some other events as well. And once again, big thank you to all of our sponsors, Fourth Angel, Impulse Esports, CSN, Vivid Arts, and Maxed Out Studios for all of your support in making this amazing league possible. But that will do it for today, guys. We'll see you next time.